Today, the Division II national title is on the line for two powerhouse teams. From the 50th state, the Hawaii Pacific Lady Sea Warriors, led by All-American Charisse Moose Keys. They'll face Georgia's Valdosta State Lady Blazers, who are hoping to win the school's 5th overall title and the first in softball school history. Their three big hitters, Alyssa Shirey, Marty Littlefield, and Stephanie Carlson, set the tone. Who will be crowned the next national champion? The answer is next, right here from St. Joseph, Missouri. Good afternoon from St. Joseph, Missouri and Heritage Park Softball Complex. Today we crown a champion. Valdosta State out of Valdosta, Georgia will be the host team today as the Hawaii Pacific Lady Sea Warriors look for their first ever softball national championship. Here's how they got here. Yesterday, Valdosta State with a dramatic win over Angelo State 3-2. Hawaii Pacific took care of Metro State 7-2. So the championship matchup is set. Now yesterday was not without its drama. Freshman Morgan Johnson for Valdosta State hadn't seen a strike all day. Then she got one.
Pitch brought in. High drive, deep left, could be a walk-off, is a home run! Morgan Johnson doesn't need Littlefield or Shirey. She'll walk up the Lady Blazers to the title game tomorrow.
And so here they are. Tom Hart alongside Ann Schatz. Glad you're with us today as we decide a champion here on this Memorial Day. And for Valdosta State, no surprise that they win it with a home run. That is their MO all season. Alyssa Shirey is their team leader, not only with the bat, but also with the emotional play.
Oh, she is something else. I love to watch this kid play. Two-time All-America. She is so solid in the field, but I'll tell you what she does at the plate, Tom. She's that RBI kid you want up whenever there's a duck on the pond. She's banged up, but she is so clutch. 833 in College World Series play? My goodness, you can't make that up.
Big bats for Valdosta State, have them here in the number 2 ranked team in the nation. On the other side, for Hawaii Pacific, they'll just single you to death. That's what they did in their semifinal game. Their offense puts a lot of pressure on your defense.
Listen, Hawaii Pacific isn't going to go long ball, but they'll go station to station and say, defense, can you make the great play? To tie things up yesterday, they did exactly that. They get the ball in play and then take a chance defensively. Check it out. Runner on third. Now, she'll break right there on the throw, and look at the slide, safely avoiding the tag. That ties the game up. That's Hawaii Pacific softball. They go on to win big, and I'm telling you, that's their MO this entire game today.
It also helps when you have an All-American in the circle. That's Charisse Moose Keys.
Oh, Moose Keys is so good. All-American is right. Her ERA is below 1, and she also does it at the plate, leading everybody on her team with 400 clip. She was terrific yesterday. 8
teams came in, only 2 remain, and a title is on the line from St. Joe next.
I love learning.
I believe in service. I am full of passion.
I embody sportsmanship.
I trust in my resourcefulness.
I like balance.
That's why I chose.
I chose Division II.
This telecast is sponsored by the NCAA Division II President's Council. NCAA Division II, training student athletes for lifelong achievement. Jesse James home, one of the great sites here in St. Joseph, Missouri, also home to the Pony Express. And as these two teams come into play for a title, the number 2 overall team in the nation, Valdosta State, and number 3, Hawaii Pacific, they look to steal a championship. The Lady Sea Warriors were not in the preseason rankings, and Valdosta State has been a power all season. Let's take a look at the batting order for the Sea Warriors of Hawaii Pacific. Sierra Cenas will lead off in left field. Casey Sugahara will bat second at second base. And Miley Kim is the DP today, batting third. Nicole Morrow's had a great postseason. She's catching and batting cleanup. Charisse Moose Keys, the pitcher, hits in the 5th spot. And Cozy Toriano's in center field, batting 6th. Bottom third of the order sees Keira Pires at third base batting 7th. Brienne Patton, the first baseman, hits 8th. And Shante Toscoro is in right field batting 9th. Defensively, here's what Valdosta State looks like. A very good defensive squad. And they've proven it this season. Only 4 errors combined among the outfielders. The freshman Johnson had the big hit yesterday. She's in left field. Melissa Jackson in center. And Amber Shaw is in right. Stephanie Carlson's at the hot corner next to Marty Littlefield. April Hutchins at second. And Colette Rollins at first. Alyssa Shiree will handle the catching duties.
And officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial comments, or other
The head coach of the Valdosta State Lady Blazers is Thomas Macera, now in his 5th season as the head man, sitting on 244 wins.
Decided competition. Also, consumption or possession of alcoholic beverages is.
And there's Shiree. That's the player we talked about in the Open, Thomas. And Shiree, just keep in mind that she's got a bad left wheel, left knee damaged ligament-wise, meniscus as well, and her catching thumb, Tom, is just shot. I mean, absolutely shot. But she is kind of made good with a different kind of a catching glove. We'll talk about that, and there's no way you're going to keep this kid out of the lineup.
Pretty good battery for Valdosta State as we check out Holly Satterfield, the junior from Chattanooga, Tennessee. She was undefeated in the Gulf South Conference tournament, Gulf South Conference Player of the Year. And she brings an immense amount of talent to the circle for the Blazers.
Well, and she's been their go-to kid, but just know this, as good as Satterfield has been in the postseason, Margaret Carter has been wonderful in relief. So basically, Valdosta State has got a 1-2 pitching punch. But let's talk about Satterfield. Her numbers are very, very impressive. She's not going to give up a lot of long balls, Tom. That's because she's a ground ball pitcher. If she doesn't let that pitch flatten out, if she keeps it from getting up into the wheelhouse of any of these dangerous hitters, well, I think you've got a really good chance if you're a Valdosta State fan because of the fact that she's so effective with that ground ball pitch.
Third meeting overall. They split a doubleheader on a Valdosta trip to Hawaii in 2007. Never have they met with so much on the line. Then we're underway from St. Joseph, Missouri. Satterfield, the right-hander, started her college career at Florida International. And now a Lady Blazer. And she's facing the 5'4" senior, Sierra Cenas.
2-0 count. Cenas makes no mistake as to what she's going to do from the left side.
Cenas had a 13-game hit streak during the season. She struggled with the bat in the Super Regional, 0 for 11. But somehow they made do without her. There have been a couple of bats for both of these teams that would love to come alive today that haven't done so yet.
Leadoff hitters for both clubs, quite frankly.
Upstairs, and she lost her. And so Cenas with a leadoff walk.
Now, Macera, head coach for Valdosta State, said one of the keys for his ace is no walks. You cannot give a team like Hawaii Pacific, any team at this level, an extra out to play with, especially a team like this that will put the ball in play.
Two lefties and former high school teammates at the top of the lineup. This is Casey Sugihara, who also went to Mililani High School in Hawaii. 5'2" senior, riding an 8-game hit streak. And all she has done is hit safely in 21 of her last 22 games.
Contact kid all the way.
Drops the bunt down. Carlson at third, handles it. And the Sea Warriors put a runner in scoring position as Cenas moves to second.
This is Hawaii Pacific softball. Station to station, fundamental execution. Perfectly dead right there. You know you're giving yourself up as an out. Sugihara doesn't care because now, again, Hawaii Pacific with a runner in scoring position yesterday against Metro State. Runner in scoring position every single inning.
They did leave 12 on base, but it was a comfortable win by the end. As Miley Kim stands in, sophomore from Salinas, California, out of Notre Dame High School. A 1-for-4 performance yesterday. in the semifinal win against Metro State. One of 2 hits that she's had here in St. Joseph. 1-1.
Yeah, you need that third hole hitter, Kim, to really come through. She's a 370, 372 hitter until the series, and she's only 2 for 10, as you mentioned, in this Classic.
Good patience at the plate, and they count 2 balls and a strike. You mentioned earlier that Valdosta State has an option out of the bullpen. Margaret Carter, the talented redhead, and we could see her at any time throughout today. Head coach Thomas Massaro will not hesitate if he doesn't think Satterfield has it. And it was interesting talking to him before the game today. He said, it's my firm belief that if they start hitting Hawley, no matter what may lie in the future, it's better to change things up and go to the pin to give them a different look.
I like his line of thinking. This is a huge pitch for both teams.
3-1 offering is fouled off, and it's full now, 3-2.
All right, so we see Satterfield falling behind on 2 of the 3 batters. That was definitely a hitter's pitch. Kim, you could tell just missing things. It's kind of been the story of her tournament, but still with a very fast runner on second base. Hawaii Pacific likes its chances. LOBs, Tom Hart, LOBs. You mentioned it, 12 of them in the left on base column for Hawaii Pacific with 14 hits in that win yesterday. That cannot stay the same. They have got to get runners home.
Cenas has the speed. She's perfect in stolen bases this season. The freshman Johnson with the big bat yesterday retires Kim. And there are 2 down, and Cena's stuck at second for now.
To the plate to catcher number 17, Nicole Morrow.
So Holly Satterfield, after the leadoff walk to Sierra Cenas, trying to get the Sea Warriors onto the field and get Valdosta State back to the dugout. Here's Nicole Morrow. Freshman taps one back to the circle. Satterfield finishes it off. No runs, no hits, 1 left on base, and they go 0 for 2 with a runner in scoring position. To the bottom of the first we go. Hawaii Pacific nothing. Lady Blazers coming up. Happy Memorial Day from St. Joseph, Missouri. A warm one out here today as Hawaii Pacific and Valdosta State meet for the title. And the Sea Warriors of Hawaii Pacific University, led by second-year head coach Brian Nakasone. He's been on the staff as a 7-year assistant head coach. Longtime assistant to the legendary Howard Okita, who is now his assistant coach. Here's the batting order for the Lady Blazers of Valdosta State. Amber Shaw will lead off in right field. Morgan Johnson bats second, and shortstop Marty Littlefield hits third. Batting cleanup is Shiree with 20 home runs on the season. Stephanie Carlson follows in the 5th spot, and then Colette Rollins hits 6th. Bottom third of the order, Sarah Vaughn is the DP today. April Hutchins, the second baseman, hits 8th. And then Melissa Jackson, the center fielder, bats 9th. In the circle today for Hawaii Pacific, as she is every day, it's Charisse Mooskies. And
well, this is a gamer. She's a very quiet, unassuming kid, but boy, I'll tell you, she is in control. Her ERA is just spot on. Former walk-on. She really loves to move that pitch in and out instead of up and down.
all right, here's what they look like defensively. Cenas in left, Toriano in center, Tesoro in right, Pires at third, Garces at short, Sugahara second baseman, Pat at first. And Nicole Morrow behind the plate.
Now batting the right fielder, number 1, Amber Shaw.
From Dothan, Alabama, Amber Shaw will lead off.
Oh man, Tom, if Valdosta State can get this kid on track, a 360 hitter during the course of the season, but 0 for 11 in series play, popping up a little too much. At least yesterday she grounded out.
Transfer from Kennesaw State in the Atlanta area. Shaw, first team all-conference selection. She was riding a 7-game hit streak before falling into a funk. And as you mentioned, 0 for 11. And Coach Massaro told us today she has an on-base percentage of 0 when she puts the ball in the air. At least she got it on the ground there, and Shaw grounds out the third baseman Pires.
brings the play to left fielder number 8.
This is a terrific play by Pires. Just a freshman. I mean, she had that thing perfectly played. A nice job by Shaw, who is just as speedy as they come. And if Pires isn't located right on that line, that's trouble.
Yesterday's hero, Morgan Johnson, at the plate. The freshman with a walk-off home run to start the 7th inning. At the end of the 6th inning, her teammates came back to the dugout a little bit dejected. She said, don't worry about it. She called her shot, Annie. She said, don't worry about it. I'll end this.
Love it.
First at bat in the 7th. And that's what the freshman from Macon, Georgia did. Johnson had walked twice on 8 pitches earlier in the game.
Exactly.
And so they thought they could start her off with a first pitch strike, and she was aggressive enough to make him play. Gulf South Conference Freshman of the Year. You never know what kind of talent you have sitting on the bench. Johnson started the season there. When upperclassman Claire Wormsley was in left field, Wormsley tore her ACL. She's with the team and now keeps the book in the Valdosta State dugout. And so when Wormsley went down, that opened the door for Johnson.
And she's been terrific. Yeah, it's a really disappointing thing for Wormsley, but Johnson has picked up the slack, and that line drive may still be rolling from yesterday's heroics. Man.
Wormsley only played in 13 games. Base hit through the left side for Morgan Johnson. And so a Lady Blazer on with 1 down in the 1st inning. And now you get into the heart of the Valdosta State lineup.
Look at how quick the hands go down. Drop ball pitcher. That's exactly what Moose Keys is, and not a bad location. But you see the confident swing of Johnson. The hands getting through that zone quickly. Body steady.
Marty Littlefield has 17 home runs on the season. Valdosta State, 2nd in the nation in home runs. And the sophomore from Nashville, Georgia, is hitting .343 on the season. She's hot with the bat. A 7-game hit streak.
There's the off speed that Moose Keys will show Valdosta State. On the other side of things, Satterfield really doesn't have a go-to off speed at all. But Moose Keys is confident in the change, or at least going soft with you on the breaking ball.
Valdosta's head coach Thomas Macera said, we're confident against Moose Keys because she does more moving the ball in and out than up and down. And he said in and out are pitches that we can drive, and that's their MO.
Well, and especially Macera, who's a great hitting coach, really has his kids understanding how to turn on that inside pitch. So if you try to jam this Valdosta State club, they will make you pay.
Littlefield dumps one into right field. It will hit the fence. Johnson motors to 3rd. They're going to wave her home. Now they throw on the brakes, and she's back to the bag safe. Lady Blazers in business on a line shot to the gap.
And you can see where that ball absolutely flattened out in the strike zone. And Littlefield is so good at going opposite way. That's another teaching tenet of Macera. He wants his kids aggressive on the base paths, but wisely holding that runner up. If you jam me, I'm going to turn on you. But if you give me something on the outside version, remember, in and out, we will go opposite way.
Now the catcher, Shiree.
Oh, boy.
Won a national championship with Chipola Junior College. Originally from Fairmont City, Pennsylvania. The Gulf South Conference Player of the Year. And she is hitting .833 here in St. Joe.
All right, now, if you are Hawaii Pacific, you've got a 1-2 count here. That's aggressive pitching, but remember, first base is open with one of the best runner in scoring position kids on the planet at the plate. You've got to be really careful to this kid. And she doesn't strike out a lot, Tom, so she might see a 1-2 thing she can drive.
And she drives this one over the head of Toriano. 2 runs will score. And Shiree goes into 2nd with the double.
I would have walked her. I would have put her on first base. I would have set up an intentional situation for my defense, because you see the beauty of Shiree. Outside portion of the plate flattened out a bit. We told you. Moose Keys is an in-and-out kid. That's exactly how these Valdosta State hitters want to be pitched to. Inside, we'll turn on you. Outside, we're going to drive it to the gap because we'll go opposite field and we won't try to pull it. Gosh, look at that. That stat is boding well for Valdosta State. And how about Shiree continuing her tear?
Now we'll get a pinch runner into the game for Valdosta State for Shiree at second. Of course, Shiree can return after she gets pinch run for here.
Running for Valdosta State.
Ariel Shaw will run. And so Ariel gets into the game here, and you can read the mind of head coach Thomas Macera. Let's get as many as we can here in the opening frame.
Put the hammer down. Now, there's a long way to go in this thing, but look at Valdosta State taking advantage of runners in scoring position.
Stephanie Carlson from Surrey, British Columbia. Shaw leads the team in stolen bases with 19. Pop up to left. Cenas calls for it. And that's just the second out of the first.
That's a great offering by Moose Keys. Carlson completely fooled on that off-speed delivery. Lowered that shoulder, way out front, had no chance at all, and that's a big out for Hawaii Pacific.
Now Colette Rollins, sixth hitter of the inning for Valdosta State. Sophomore from Lawrenceville, Georgia, out of South Gwinnett High School in the Atlanta area. She was red hot earlier this postseason. MVP of the Gulf South Conference Tournament. She hit 700 during their conference tourney.
Another one of those players for Macero who got the starting nod late, kind of like a Morgan Johnson, and who made do when she finally got into the lineup. This is a young club. I mean, you look at the seniors, Shiree and Carlson, but a lot of youngsters in the lineup for Valdosta State.
And Valdosta State puts another base runner on as Rollins is hit by the pitch.
And Moose Keys is usually a picture of control. You just rarely see that. And that one just got away from her, and obviously Rollins doesn't even move. That's when you take one for the team and just keep the ball rolling.
Charisse Moose Keys out of Pico Rivera, California, is also a very good hitter. The pitch to Vaughn is low, 2-0.
Well,
she's their workhorse, though. 230 innings pitched. They have a couple of options out of the bullpen, but Moose Keys has pitched every inning of this tournament.
You're absolutely right, and there's your key. And Tom, I think she's frustrated right now with the balls and strikes being called by the home plate umpire, falling behind again as she has most of this frame. She likes her location, likes it a lot, but she's not getting any calls her way.
3-1.
Hitters pitch all the way. Vaughn is hitting very well in series play, 375. You pull the trigger here.
Floats one home for a strike, and the count goes full on the freshman from Watkinsville, Georgia, out of Oconee County High School. 2 on and 2 out. Charisse Moose Keys looking to finish this first and get out of trouble. This may sound odd, but if she can hold them to just 2 here in the first.
You're reading my mind.
After how poor this outing had been. Tony Cooper's your home plate umpire. Up the middle, Moose Keys has it, and that will close the inning. And so while a 2-run deficit isn't what Hawaii Pacific wanted, they still strand a pair of Lady Blazers. One inning in the books from St. Joseph, Missouri, and Valdosta State leads Hawaii Pacific 2-0. You can follow all the action from this NCAA championship as well as highlights and stats at NCAA.com. NCAA.com is the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships. By the way, at NCAA.com, you could have heard Stuart Johnson's call of yesterday's action, including the walk-off home run for Valdosta State.
Great.
Was that guy fired up or what?
That was just great. Oh, my goodness. I wish I could have been next to him listening to that. Hearing it today just brought the chills because that was a heck of a moment. Way to go, Stu.
We ran his highlight in the open, and it was as emotionally charged from the booth as it was on the field for Valdosta State. Here is now Charisse Mooskies. We told you about her in the circle. With the bat, she's riding an 8-game hit streak. She's batting .500 over the last 8 and .400 here in this tournament.
Well, basically, they started putting the stick in her hand late in the season. She hasn't had a lot of at-bats, but I'll tell you, she has made good with those at-bats, on fire in series play.
Head coach of Hawaii Pacific, Brian Nakasone, coaches third base for them. Been the co-head coach since 2002. He came over with his assistant coach, Howard Okita.
What a combo they've been, huh? I mean, they just keep winning. They just keep coaching together. Doesn't really matter who's the head coach, who's the assistant coach. It's like father and son, and what an incredible story.
Howard Okita has a national championship under his belt. He led Hawaii Loa to the '91 NAIA National Championship, and that was just down the road, a few hours away from here in Columbia, Missouri. A little bit different then. He said at that point for the NAIA title, we had a couple people in the stands that were rooting for us. Here they have a nice contingent of green and black. Here's Cozy Toriano after the walk to Mooskies. And the head coach, Nakasone, also spent 5 years at the legendary Punahou School in Hawaii. Back in the late 70s, they had a pretty good reserve basketball player coming off the boys' basketball bench, President Barack Obama.
Really?
Yeah. 0-2.
Where'd you dig that up?
I got nuggets, Annie. I got nuggets. And most of them don't matter. And after today, they won't. But
No.
Here on Memorial Day, we can work some of them in.
I like it. I want to kind of remember that one. And I'll credit you as I always do, Tom.
Toriano started to walk off as if it were strike 3. She'll stay at the plate with the count 1-2.
Tight strike zone, Tom Hart. Tight. Squeeze me. Strike zone.
Toriano out of the Kamehameha schools, and she sends a one-hopper to second. Only plays at first, and Hutchins takes care of Toriano for 3. Great day for softball here in St. Joseph, Missouri, in a Division II national championship on the line between Hawaii Pacific and Valdosta State. We're at the Heritage Park Softball Complex. Tom Hart with Ann Schatz. Glad to have you along. Hope you enjoy your holiday weekend. And here at this beautiful complex where they've hosted the tournament all week, and a tip of the cap to the folks at Missouri Western who've done such a fine job in putting this on.
You bet. They've been terrific hosts.
And it's not like they're not busy enough, because the Griffins athletic department will play host to the Kansas City Chiefs and host their summer camps in their brand new indoor facility, which will open soon. And that's just a few weeks away. So you go from hosting a national tournament to having the chefs come in. Great googly moogly. 1-1 now.
Nice job by Satterfield turning that one over. Working the zones pretty well. And this inning staying ahead of a few of these Hawaii Pacific batters. That's the key.
Rolled foul, 1-2.
Speaking of young, this Sea Warrior Club has got a lot of young pups on the club as well. A few seniors dotting the lineup, but a ton of freshmen and sophomores that Nakasone has had to trust, and he has not been let down.
By the way, Missouri Western will also host the Division II Women's Elite 8 coming they hosted it, pardon me.
Yeah, they just got finished. Yep.
Wow, busy school year. Here's the 2-2. Sharply hit on the ground, diving stop by Hutchins, 2 down.
Well, there's no way that Mooskies is going to score from third. Well, probably not. But I'll tell you, just knocking the ball down would have been a great play. But Rollins makes an all-world play right here. Inside-out swing, nicely done by Pires. But what a terrific play, and how she was able to steady herself on one knee and not hurry that throw. Boy, that was huge. And excuse me, not Rollins, but Hutchins at second base making that play. You know, Tom, we talk about this Hawaii Pacific club putting the ball in play. Can the defense take them out of their game? That was a statement right there by Hutchins.
Here's Brianne Patton. It happened yesterday against Metro State. Hawaii Pacific in the 6th inning scored 3 unearned runs without the ball leaving the infield. And that's some of the pressure we were talking about that they put on your infield as a whole. Patton looks at a strike and a count 1-2 to the first baseman out of Eva Beach, Hawaii. Patton was 0 for 2 yesterday. She's hitting 5 of 6. Got her swinging to finish the inning. A fantastic defensive play by April Hutchins at second base. A leadoff walk wasted for the 2nd straight frame by the Sea Warriors of Hawaii Pacific. 2-0, Valdosta State leads Hawaii Pacific as we head to the home half of the 2nd inning. We're not going to let you off easy today. There will be some trivia involved. Can you tell us which NCAA member school won last year's Division II softball championship?
That's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. Come on now.
Home plate umpires Tony Cooper, Renee Williams at first, Melody Wiggins is at third. And the first pitch outside to April Hutchins, who showed tremendous glove work out in the field. Retired 2 Sea Warriors in the last half inning, one with a smothering stop to save a run potentially.
And at 5-3, boy, that half gainer was absolutely perfect. She needed every bit of that 5-3 and then comes up and gives you a small strike zone to lead off this frame.
A couple swan dives at area pools today for sure on Memorial Day. We could use a kiddie pool right now. It is scorching hot out at St. Joe.
Cannonball.
2 balls and a strike to Hutchins.
Boy, it's just been tough for both pitchers to get any calls in their favor. So you see them working from behind. And remember the power of this Valdosta lineup, 1 through 9.
2-2. Hutchins, a sophomore from Riverside, Illinois, out of Brookfield High School. And the Valdosta State second baseman, first-team all-conference selection. Goes down swinging to start the 2nd. That's the first K for Moose Keys.
Well, she doesn't load them up in the K department too much, Tom. I mean, really, a lot like Satterfield. Just let your defense help you. But a K on occasion, boy, again, taking something off of it. I just really love that curve of hers. She brings that down in the mid to high 50s, and it's awfully tough to figure out.
Glove by Pires at third. Good recovery to get the out.
How about Pires again? Left side of this Hawaii Pacific infield freshman. Pires knowing that she's got some time with Jackson and has a gun. Wasn't even close. But that little pirouette could have been interesting. But nice footwork there and a strong arm to first.
Back to the top of the lineup now, and Shaw. Amber Shaw grounded out to third on a little tapper in the first inning as she tried to slap it the opposite way. Shaw got off to a hot start this season. She was 0 for 3 in the first day of the year. Then she went on a 10-game hit streak, and she may be at her best here. She's hitting .377 with 2 out. You know, that might be the secret to Valdosta State. They have a lot of pop. We've already seen their gap power. But their big hitters, especially in the top half of the lineup, all hit well with 2 out.
Yes, they do. And runners in scoring position, they don't drop down much, even with 2 down.
Left side in for the slap, and it is picked up in foul territory. Pires threw it wide, but didn't matter, and returning to the plate will be Amber Shaw.
But you can see why Massera just wants her to dirt this ball. If this ball bounces twice, you're not going to throw her out. I don't care how much Pyrus is on top of the plate. Tried to footwork that thing into a fair play, but it turned out to be good news for Hawaii Pacific on the wild throw. Man.
There's that frustration you're talking about with Moose Keys. She feels like she's been squeezed a few times here in the first inning and 2/3. Shortstop Garces hurries, got her. And a 1-2-3 frame for Valdosta State. Moose Keys puts him down in the order. Calls or not. We head to the third, 2-0 Lady Blazers.
Valdosta State 2, Hawaii.
2-0 is the Valdosta State lead. Last stop on this whistle stop tour. And a Division II title on the line. Takes us back to a trivia question. Which NCAA member school won last year's Division II softball championship? And
Lock Haven. Their second in 4 years. The great Kristen Erb. Arguably the best D2 pitcher I've ever seen. And she was fantastic. And Lock Haven, and I mean, they just came alive through the losers bracket to win that thing. They were awesome last year.
Took down Alabama Huntsville in an 8-0 championship game. It was the second softball title for the Lady Eagles. They won the hardware in 2006. Yep. Here's Shantae Tesoro. Foul ball.
You know, and that's what made this season so interesting, Tommy, is we knew that the great Kristen Erb and all of those seniors were graduating. It seemed like they had been there forever at Lock Haven. We knew those folks were leaving, and that Lock Haven was going to be reloading and probably not going to be a factor in the championship this year. And it just opened it up for all these great teams. It's been wide open.
Again, foul. And so North Georgia comes to St. Joe on a 50-game win streak. And lo and behold, they get taken down not once but twice, and the #1 team in the nation fails to make it to the championship game.
Valdosta State buried him in game 2, 6-1 to hand them that first loss of the season.
Little roller along the
me?
chalk, and that is going to just go foul.
Shirey, hoping, right? This is just, you know, a smart play by a real smart catcher. There's no reason to do anything but hope and wait.
And maybe blow on it.
Yeah, maybe. Look at just by the slimmest of margins. She knew right there. Then you got to touch it, though, to make sure that's a dead ball.
So Tesoro back again with the count 0-2. And making Holly Satterfield work a little bit here.
And that's the key. Satterfield is used to throwing a lot of pitches and throwing in the heat. But you, as a team, want to see her, foul her off, get used to her, adjust.
Gets her on the 6th pitch of the at-bat, and Tesoro strikes out.
Now batting, the left fielder, number 10.
Satterfield going outside there. Remember, the drop ball pitcher, but that time left it a little high, but far enough off the edge where Tesoro couldn't catch up with it.
Sierra Cenas back at the dish. Off the glove of Littlefield, and the first hit for Hawaii Pacific comes with 1 out in the 3rd.
Nice job by Cenas, who just is so good at going with the outside pitch. That is one of her specialties.
Second baseman, number 14.
So smart, not trying to pull it, and strong enough with that slap style that she's able to get it past the infield. Seeing eye single.
Cenas over 400 for this tournament. Sugihara looks at a first pitch strike.
And this kid will put it in play. She just does not strike out. She will put it in play, put the onus on the D.
Trailing 2-0 in the first when Cenas reached on a walk and there was nobody out. They had Sugihara sacrifice Cenas to second. Different line of thinking here with one down and down 2. Back to the circle, chance for 2. 1 at second, that's all they get. As Littlefield takes the throw there. And they're 2 down.
Fundamental stuff. You know, it doesn't look very fancy, but I'll tell you, Satterfield zings that into center field, and kind of a cue ball shot off the plate. Does a really nice job of getting it over to Littlefield, who knows she's got no chance at the double play. But erasing the lead runner, fundamental stuff. That's what Valdosta is all about in the field.
Miley Kim looks at the first pitch at her shoe tops, 1-0. Kim was 1 for 4 in their 7-2 win against Metro State yesterday in the semis. Been a big week for softball in the 50th state. Hutchins finishes the inning. The University of Hawaii team with a walk-off win against Alabama will make it to Oklahoma City in the Division I World Series. But here a Division II title is on the line. Back in St. Joe, let's take a look at Ann Schatz's Division II news and notes.
Well, you talked about the North Georgia Stunners when they lost 2 and made a quick exit. 6 of the 8 schools in the College World Series, 50-plus wins, but I got to go to that middle line. Say goodbye to Jan Hutchinson, Bloomsburg's great coach, retiring after so many years of service. Softball, field hockey, unbelievable, unparalleled in Division II softball wins. And as far as field hockey, nobody better, doesn't matter the level. Gosh, Jan Hutchinson, were you fun to watch and to just embrace.
Morgan Johnson will lead off for Valdosta State. You know, and anytime we see a coach of that level move on and what they mean to the sport, to their kids, and to their community there in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, at times we're like, you know, we really feel like we're missing out on something, and we definitely are. But there always seems to be someone else waiting in the wings.
Well, and
maybe not to that level,
well,
but
yeah,
certainly somebody else with that kind of passion and compassion waiting to grab our headlines next.
Well, I love the way you put it. It is about the passion. It is about the compassion, and that was Hutchinson. And the great thing about her, through all the years of coaching, she has really produced some great coaches herself, players going on to coach, and they'll just carry the flame.
Peek in on Charisse Muskies, who delivers a first pitch strike to Marty Littlefield. Littlefield smoked a double to the fence in the first inning. The first of 2 straight 2-base hits for the Lady Blazers, which gave them a 2-0 lead. And now this one into center field off the glove of Toriano. Littlefield into second, standing up. And Cozy Toriano missed an opportunity to haul that one in, and she might be a little banged up.
Well, Toriano knew she should have had this one. Littlefield sitting on that off-speed pitch. And Toriano, I think she kind of misjudged the pace of that ball. Boy, and I mean loving the gap is this Valdosta club. Mistiming her jump and taking a hard tumble. But that's a catch that has to be made if you're Hawaii Pacific playing from behind.
And now Shirey to worry about. First trip to the plate for Alyssa Shirey in the first inning with 2 on, and she banged this one off the fence. Brought a pair home for the Lady Blazers. And that's where we stand here, 2-0 in the third.
Well, first base open again, just like it was in that last at bat for Shirey. Hawaii Pacific elects to pitch to her. We saw what she just did with the big belt. First base open, 1-1 count. You've got to be careful or she'll put Hawaii Pacific in a hole they can't climb out of.
Shirey yanks one foul. She's sitting on 20 home runs this season. Now, Charisse Muskies is not the type of the pitcher that will get intimidated. Yesterday, in the win against Metro State, she was asked about Tara Mickelson, the nation's home run leader, and how she approached her. Mickelson leads Division II with 25 home runs. Her response, which batter was that?
Well, it's clear that Mooskies, the All-America, wants to pitch to the All-America at the plate. And this is a great battle. Round 1 went to Shirey, no doubt about it. A 1-2 count. Shirey doesn't K a whole lot.
Staying alive and still 1-2.
Making adjustments with every pitch. And let's see who comes out on top. You love the pitching if it can stay sharp in a one-and-done situation like this. But when a batter like Shirey has a chance to see, even an All-American like Mooskies, she should find something she can drive. Maybe off speed right here, Tom.
Good bat speed, stays alive.
You bet.
Coming up will be the 7th pitch of the at-bat. Shirey has only struck out 17 times in 59, make it 60 games now this season for Valdosta State. That's the fewest among any of the Lady Blazer regulars. Into right, Tesoro, 2 down.
What a great pitch by Mooskies, and Shirey knows that she gave herself up. All aboard Amtrak, gave herself up on that off-speed pitch. I think Shirey had a feeling that was coming, Tom, but she just couldn't help herself, drop the shoulder, and that's a huge out for Mooskies and Hawaii Pacific.
That is just the 2nd time this tournament that Shirey has been retired. Previously, a 5-3 ground out against Angelo State. You know you're having a good tournament when they talk about your outs rather than your hits because there's so few. Stephanie Carlson flew out to left field in the 1st.
Home run threat all the way, and I think she's thinking long ball. Mooskies just able to keep the Valdosta kids a bit off balance because of the fact that she's got off speed, and she uses it wisely.
To third. And Pires finishes the frame as Carlson grounds out. No runs, a hit, 1 left on. When we return, we'll talk with Valdosta head coach Thomas Macera. His Lady Blazers lead 2-0. Welcome back to St. Joseph, Missouri. Valdosta State leads Hawaii Pacific 2-0. Top of the 4th inning. Tom Hart and Ann Schatz in the booth, joined now by Lady Blazers head coach Thomas Macera down on the field. Coach, thanks for being with us. Let's go back to that 1st inning. Exactly what you wanted. They decided to pitch to Shirey, and she made him pay.
Yeah, they pitched at her, and she got a hold of one and got us on top here. Just hope they can continue to keep hitting the ball hard.
Coach, we talked about how critical it was going to be for your defense to play well behind the ground ball offerings of Satterfield in the circle. So far, so good with some gems.
Yes, ma'am. So far, so good. Everybody's just playing clean ball, and if we can just keep making the plays, we should be okay.
Coach, we talked to you briefly this morning, and you already answered for this for us, but I want our viewers to hear it. Any change in the way that your team approaches this game versus how they approached every game this season?
No, we're not doing anything different here today. 60 games later, and 60 games later, why are we going to do anything different than we've been doing all year? We're just trying to prod along and get our hits in and just try to play some clean defense.
Coach, thanks for your time. We'll let you get back to work.
All right, thank you.
That's head coach Thomas Macera. Valdosta State owns Division II national titles in basketball, football, and men's tennis. Their last national championship came on the gridiron in 2007 as Valdosta State took down Northwest Missouri State down in Florence, Alabama. Northwest is just a few miles up the road here in Maryville, Missouri. And what a great season, school year, and semester it's been in Valdosta, Georgia. The men's tennis team made it to the championship match. Swinging at the 3rd strike was Morrow, and she's retired on the strikeout. 3rd K now for Satterfield.
Now batting, the pitcher number 18.
Their first came in 1979 as a baseball team took it home. And then men's tennis was so close this season. 2 singles players with a chance to win it in the championship match, each up 4-0. They got cramps, couldn't finish, and went to extra sets. And they cramped out and finished 2nd. But a great semester. Men's basketball, men's tennis, women's tennis, and softball all won. I should say baseball won their Gulf South Conference championships. Great time to be in South Georgia.
And it's just a phenomenal athletic program across the board as Moose Keys will step to the plate for Hawaii Pacific. And this would be the first softball championship for Valdosta State if they can hang on. Still lots of game left, but you know they'd love to put a little hardware into the right place back home.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Charisse Moose Keys. And Moose Keys, mentioned this earlier, riding an 8-game hit streak. She's hit safely in 14 of 15 now. So she really carries a lot on her shoulders for this Hawaii Pacific team. Throws every inning, comes up with a big bat. And that time she's the 4th strikeout victim, 2nd straight for Satterfield.
Boy, Satterfield's starting to feel a little bit better about herself. Not often are the batters rung up without swinging. Inside delivery. And you know what was interesting is Shiree really didn't frame it. Didn't really move over to that inside portion of the plate. Moved her glove instead, but they got the call rung up.
I'm sure Moose Keys would love to get that same call when she's in the circle.
You know she's thinking that. Satterfield settling down nicely after she opens this game with a walk in the first inning. In trouble, but bailed herself out and has been sailing ever since.
She has struck out 4 of the last 7. And now Toriano has a chance to make up for that misjudged fly ball in the previous half inning. Two balls and a strike to Cozy Toriano.
Now Toriano's had the luxury of seeing Satterfield. She's got to be more aggressive with a pitch like that. That was something she could have done something with.
Three balls and a strike.
Toriano, one of these speedster Hawaii Pacific kids. And with 2 outs, it'll be interesting to see if she gets on.
Borderline call goes against Toriano and fills the count.
Took a second to, as far as Toriano was concerned, for that right hand to come up. She was a step towards first, thinking she had the walk.
Now the payoff. To short, Littlefield, and a 1-2-3 frame worked by Holly Satterfield. Hawaii Pacific trails 2-0. When we return, we'll chat with head coach Brian Nakasone. In St. Joseph, Missouri, a 2-0 lead for Valdosta State over Hawaii Pacific. Tom Hart with Ann Schatz joined now in the Hawaii Pacific dugout by head coach Brian Nakasone. Coach, thanks for being with us. This is a team that came into this tournament ranked 3rd in the nation, now playing for a title. You were unranked to begin this season. Talk to us about this team's accomplishments throughout the regular season and making it to this game.
Well, you know, we always work hard. We pledge to the kids to work hard and be disciplined at the plate. You know, we work hard on our defense especially, and because we've got a lot of freshmen on the team and a lot of freshman starters. So we needed to keep up their confidence and increase their skills, and that's what got us here. That and the senior leadership, I think, was excellent this year. You know, they took the young ones under their wings and brought them to here, where we are today.
Coach, mustering but 2 hits to this point, 1 or 2 hits. What do you need to do to adjust to Satterfield as this game is starting to get middle to late?
You know, I think we need to maybe scoot back in the box a little bit and quicken our hands. The ball seems to be picking up speed in the second half of the distance. So I think we need to have quicker hands at the plate.
Finally, you had a chat with Moose Keys before you made your way over to the dugout. What did you tell her at this point?
You know, I always tell her that let's get the first out. You know, that's the important out, keep us out of trouble.
Coach, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's Hawaii Pacific head coach Brian Nakasone. In his 2nd season as the head coach now has him playing for a national championship. Colette Rollins from Valdosta State at the plate with a count 2-1. And Charisse Moose Keys looking for that first out. Skips one home, 3 balls and a strike to Rollins.
Again, working from behind as she seems to have had the burden in terms of carrying that weight every single at-bat.
Full count. You know, Ann, if you return that ball that just ended up at your feet, you probably get a ticket for a free snow cone.
I was kind of hoping for a quarter or something. But a snow cone?
Sure.
You know, maybe on a day like this, that's probably a better choice.
I just dump it on my head. It's so hot. Colette Rollins stays alive.
Now Muski's just working hard. Being patient, walking off the rubber, taking her time to set up with the freshman Morrow. Working hard. Not wanting to give up anything via the walk.
Gets her on the 7th pitch of the at-bat.
Well, that's just remember it's 3-1, and really took something off that, and then works the inner part of the plate, and just keeping Valdosta State off balance enough. Sometimes backdoor in the curve, and even these really good inside hitting Valdosta State batters not able to figure it all out all the time. Ooh.
Pulled the string on Sarah Vaughn, 0-1. Vaughn's riding a 3-game hit streak. Now 3 for 9 here in this College World Series. Oh, and Bugs Bunny changeups get slower and slower. Now 0-2.
And when a clever pitcher like Muski's has this in the arsenal, and look how she sells it. Batter way out in front, had committed, forget it.
Rip to the right side and a base hit for Vaughn.
Okay, so Vaughn looks silly the last 2 pitches and then is patient. Able to take that hanging curve and do something with it. Jumped all over it, but the important thing was stayed back for that extra second and didn't commit the weight forward until she could get those hands through the zone.
Do you have to have a ticket to park your train behind left field and watch some free softball?
Love that.
April Hutchins pops one foul, 0-1. I mean, if the engineer's working on Memorial Day, he might as well take in some softball.
And he's got a little, hello there. Yep. If the horn comes at the wrong time, that batter's going to be jumping out of her shoes.
Popped up. Great play. Dropped it in the circle, but they'll get the lead runner. Vaughn retired. Just your typical 1-6. It was in and out of the glove of Moose Keys, and Hutchins aboard on the fielder's choice.
Moose Keys is one of the better fielding pitchers you will see. And for her to drop that she was startled, you could tell. But obviously the runner at first has to hold, assuming that little pop fly is going to be caught. So no damage done to Hawaii Pacific.
Center fielder Melissa Jackson out of Gray, Georgia, Jones County High School, had really been struggling here in the postseason. But hitting .354 with 2 outs on the year. Basket catch by Garces at short.
For Valdosta State.
This train keeps chugging along.
No runs, 1 hit.
It's a 2-0 Valdosta State lead.
4 complete innings. Valdosta State
to the 5th we go.
Hawaii
the Blazers
Pacific,
in the lead.
0.
2-0 Valdosta State leads Hawaii Pacific as we move to the 5th. Experience the life of the student athlete. Watch NCAA on campus each Monday at 8:30 Eastern on CBS College Sports Network. NCAA on campus can also be viewed online at ncaa.com. If you have an idea for the story for the NCAA on campus TV show, let us know about it. Email your idea to us at ncaaoncampus@ncaa.org. We'd love to hear from you. It's everything NCAA, and it's on campus.
That's a cool idea. Love that.
Well, the train engineer could have sounded the horn, but he was trying to be a distraction. Take a look at the engineer sitting in his cab. Hey, bada swing,
hey, bada swing, bada.
Swing, bada.
Yeah, that's okay. Run along then, young man.
Take your Ferris Bueller sayings and chug on down the line.
We've got a national championship on the line here.
Leading off for Hawaii Pacific, the third baseman, number 25, Pyra Pires.
Holly Satterfield has allowed only 1 hit today against 4 strikeouts. A pair of walks have put people on, and now the second hit of the game is Kyra Pires singles to left. And so we asked Brian Nakasone last inning what they could do differently offensively and see if they make moving back in the box pay off against Satterfield.
And I think being a little bit more aggressive. I think Hawaii Pacifics have been flat at the plate. And that time, Pires didn't let anybody mess with that first pitch. She just got after it.
Brand Patton takes a cut at the first offering, 0-1. They're the sophomore from Eva Beach, Hawaii, at Campbell High School. Her dad used to live in St. Louis, just across the state. Picked up by the first baseman, Rollins, and takes care of Patton, 1 down. By the way, if that train keeps sitting out there, we're going to have a Jesse James impersonator ride up via horse and rob them. Bring us all their drinking water.
And they're gold.
Shantae Tesoro looks at the first pitch outside, 1-0.
Bottom of the order. Let's see if Hawaii Pacific can get something going to give their Ribby kids a chance. Good gravy, they never stop.
Yeah, this doesn't look good. Throw to second, not in time, and off the glove of Hutchins. I can't see from my vantage point here, but I hope there are 2 tracks out there. Otherwise, we're going to see something ugly on this Memorial Day.
No, I'm telling you, this was nonstop. Now, it's been nonstop the whole tournament. They've got both tracks moving, pal.
Hawaii Pacific looking to crisscross Valdosta State and take the lead here. Beautiful drag bunt. Safe at first, and the ball gets away. And Hawaii Pacific is on the board. There's that aggressive base running that we told you about at the outset.
Well, that throw never should have been made. I mean, there's no way in heck you're going to get Tesoro. And Rollins should have never made that throw. Really handcuffed Hutchins. And an easy run to plate for Hawaii Pacific, which should be runners on first and third. Now has a run in, and that deficit cut in half. And that's the only chink in the Valdosta armor we've seen as far as their defense is concerned. And Rollins, you got to keep in mind, just a freshman, only been starting since early April. And that was a freshman mistake right there. Should have just held on to it.
Handcuffed Hutchins, who was covering the bag at first. It's the 10th error of the season on April Hutchins. An unearned run as of now. And the pitch is inside to the leadoff hitter, Sierra Cenas.
So you've got good speed at first, only 1 out. And Cenas, who's been seeing the ball well, opposite field single last time up.
2-0.
You see how Satterfield wants to keep the ball away from the left side slap hitting Cenas. Wasn't able to do that last time these two met.
To the left side, foul ball. Good thing, because Carlson just uncorked one to the opposite dugout.
It's time for Valdosta State to collectively take a big deep breath. Hawaii Pacific will not get back into this game with long balls. What they'll do is station to station, small ball if they have to, or gap something in ribby fashion.
In the 5th, 2-2.
Away, Tommy, excuse me.
The 2-2 to Cenas. Poked through the left side of the infield. And the Sea Warriors have 2 on with 1 down.
Mirrored exactly what she did in the 3rd. Staying really active with her hands. Boy, that is terrific bat control. Did not lower her shoulder and just drove that ball through the drawn-in infield. Cenas has been able to do that 2 times as Valdosta State will make the pitching change.
Satterfield exits. Head coach Thomas Massera said he wouldn't hesitate to go to Margaret Carter She's carried the hot arm here in the postseason, even out of the bullpen. Satterfield is done. We'll tell you about Carter when we return. Holly Satterfield leaves in line for the win, but only if Margaret Carter can pick her up coming out of the bullpen. And there's no reason to think that the redhead couldn't, because, Ann, she has been on fire, especially in the postseason.
Well, you want your greats to be even better in the postseason, obviously, in one-and-done situations. You know, the numbers are fantastic, but you're right, Tom. She gets to the postseason, her ERA drops well below 1. She is a kid that has swagger, in control, and a totally different kind of style than Satterfield. She likes the changeup, kind of like Moose Keys. She'll throw that backdoor curve, work it in and out. So now let's see if HPU can adjust.
Carter is 6-1 with an ERA of .47 in the postseason. She made 3 starts for Valdosta State through 3 complete games with 13 strikeouts, and she hasn't walked a batter. She was at Samford University just outside of Birmingham. She took Samford to a Southern Conference championship and to the championship game. And there is no hesitation whatsoever for head coach Thomas Massera to go to his pen.
Three and one, though. And you see what she's done at the World Series, coming on to slam doors. Important 2 innings. Snuffing rallies.
Got the win yesterday. Count now 3 balls and a strike. Tesoro's at second base for Hawaii Pacific. And Cenas at first. Pires has already scored. Long foul ball, and the count stays full. Valdosta State has won 5 straight games that Margaret Carter has appeared in. She led her conference and was 13th in the nation in earned run average. Little flip shot into left field. They're going to point the runner home. The throw is cut off. To second they go. No out there, and Hawaii Pacific running the bases has tied the game.
Oh, I'm wondering where the communication broke down. I thought that ball should have gone through, and I think it would have been a bang-bang play at the plate. Instead, Valdosta cuts it off. Base running blunder. HPU even gets out of that jam. Little excuse me cue ball chopper to left in the off speed. Now, Nakasone is going to send the runner, and she slides in, and you can see Shirey bouncing on her toes, let it go through. Now HPU almost runs itself out of an inning, but then the Valdosta State defense continues to implode. Everybody's safe, runners on second and third, and we are tied up.
And Miley Kim with a base hit up the middle, first pitch swinging. 1 run home, that's all they'll get here. Cenas scores, stopping at third is Sugihara. No panic for Hawaii Pacific. Down 2-0 originally, and now a 3-run 5th and still alive.
Boy, is this reminiscent of what Hawaii was able to do against Metro State. Scoring 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, and 3 in the 6th to run away from it. Run away from Metro State yesterday. And how about this is a dormant Hawaii Pacific club until this frame, and they have come alive. Wow. Oh, Tom, I really thought that Johnson in left field had a chance to gun that runner out at home. Shirey was waiting for Johnson, of course, then hitting her cutoff. And boy, I really thought that was going to come all the way through, let it go through at the plate for a play.
Here's Nicole Morrow. First pitch up and away. Pomakai Kalakau is now pinch running for Hawaii Pacific. She's at first in place of Kim. Morrow 0 for 2 today. Way out in front of the off-speed pitch, 1-1.
Carter's been off-speeding almost every one of the HPU hitters, and they've done a nice job of being patient and just letting the bat muscle the ball out of the infield.
1-2.
Curve breaking in on the hands of the batter. Morrow's got to be really smart here with an RBI waiting to happen.
To short. Thought about the play and they got nothing. A run will score. Littlefield, unsure of the situation, thought about coming home, had a chance for a double play, or at least the lead runner at second.
Boy, I'm not really sure what Littlefield was thinking there. An out was very important. But again, do you see the aggressive base running by Hawaii Pacific? You think for a second, if it doesn't get through, surely you're not going to come in from third. And Hawaii Pacific and Nakasone has different ideas. This speedy club has really hurt this Valdosta State defense, which was perfect until this frame.
We talked earlier, in fact, at the very beginning of the game, about how their speed puts pressure on you. And that time was Sugihara breaking from third. It made Littlefield think twice. And that's all that mattered.
But what was weird is Sugihara didn't break on contact. She actually watched Littlefield gobble that ball up in her glove before she did break.
Good catch behind the dish for Shirey.
Big out.
Hawaii Pacific 4 for 7 with runners on base this inning. It started with Kyra Pires reaching on a leadoff single. Nine have come to the plate here in the fifth for Hawaii Pacific. And Cozy Toriano batting against Margaret Carter. You asked Brian Nakasone what can his team do to string together a couple of hits, because they cannot hit 3-run home runs to get back in this game. This is exactly what they needed to do. And another base hit. They're loaded for the Sea Warriors. 1,000 cuts from the bats of the Sea Warriors.
What an impressive inning for Hawaii Pacific. Again, look at how patient this team is with off speed. Batting around is Hawaii Pacific. You see the great form. And we're telling you, this is a team that has to string together a bunch of hits to score runs. And they're doing exactly that coming into this frame, but one hit and shut out. But then they were able to start things off with some hits and Chase Satterfield, and then the speed wore down this Valdosta State defense. Base is full, and this is a chance for Hawaii Pacific to really put Valdosta State in a hole.
Pinch runner at second base.
For Hawaii Pacific, third baseman number 25.
Malia Kellum.
Kyra Pires.
And Kyra Pires, who started the inning with a single to left. She eventually scored on the Hutchins error.
Now Pires has got to be expecting off speed right here. I'm going to step up in the box a little bit, and I'm anticipating that, sitting on the off speed. There it was.
Valdosta State came in with a .957 fielding percentage. 2 errors here in the fifth. And ended with a strikeout, but not before Hawaii Pacific puts 4 runs across.
4 runs.
On 6 hits, couple of errors, they leave the bases loaded. But the Sea Warriors string those hits together and take the lead.
4, Valdosta State.
The E-Train caught up with the Valdosta State defenders that last half inning. Hawaii Pacific, 6 hits put pressure on them, and the Sea Warriors lead this game 4-2 now. As we move to the fifth, it'll be the top third of the order. Shaw, Johnson, and Littlefield. to the plate for Valdosta State.
All right, Shaw is overdue. I really feel if Shaw can lead this thing off and get on base somehow, some way, and just get a little confidence and speed on the base paths for Valdosta State, that they've got serious action. This is a huge at-bat for both clubs.
Amber Shaw hitless in her last 4.5 games. Now the Skid has reached 13 at-bats for the Valdosta State leadoff hitter, who's an all-conference performer. And before this Skid, she had a 7-game hit streak going.
There it is.
And it drops for a single.
Okay.
And now the fastest runner on the team is aboard.
Now batting the left fielder, number 8.
So don't do anything with it that you can't. And that's a little pop-up. You remember, you've drawn the infield in so much that nobody's got a chance. The shortstop has no chance, Garces, to flag that thing down. It's just a little bleeder pop-up. Form wasn't good, results were perfect, and Valdosta State has action.
Here's Morgan Johnson. And Amber Shaw can point out to her head coach, Thomas Macera. He told her before, he said, listen, your on-base percentage when you hit the ball in the air is 0.
Right.
She can say, hey, I found a way to end my skid. I put it in the air. Whatever it takes.
Well, thanks to that drawn-in infield, yeah, that probably was going to drop no matter what. And no matter what, Valdosta State will take it.
Morgan Johnson singled and scored in the first. Fair ball, dropped at first base. Valdosta State will now take advantage of an error. It'll be a sacrifice, E4, error on Sugihara, second baseman covering, and Shaw scampers all the way to third.
Fundamental stuff is starting to break down for both clubs, and that's a play that should have been made. Sugihara wasn't a great throw, but it's something she can normally handle. So now runners at the corners with very dangerous hitters up for Valdosta State. This lead is not safe.
37 home runs combined between Littlefield and the on-deck hitter Shirey. Marty Littlefield 2 for 2 with 2 doubles today. Short hop picked up by Sugihara. The first not in time, and the head first dive from Littlefield just beats the throw.
Great play by Sugihara. Almost got a double play that really would have sparked the defense, but at least she's able to snag this. And this is a tough screamer of a hop. Really moved well. Footwork was terrific. Almost comes up with the double play. But the most important thing is the run did not score. Nice play by Sugihara after the boot at first on that previous play.
2-run lead. Visited in the circle. Morrow, the catcher, talking with the left side of the infield. And his umpiring crew is going to get together, and they have something to discuss.
And this is a really critical time for all the Hawaii Pacific infielders and everybody wearing gloves out there to make sure the assignments are down pat. You know where everybody is going. It's the little things now that will parlay into big things in your favor, or really drop kick that lead to the curb.
Shirey doubled home a pair of runs in the first inning. Flew out to right field in the third after she got behind in the count. About an 8-pitch at bat in the third against Moose Keys.
Let's see if first pitch she goes after it, Tom.
Indeed, into left. Cenas in foul territory. Got the grab. And the runner didn't tag from third.
Oh my
Has
goodness.
to head back, and the throw gets away. She'll still score anyway.
A terrible base running by Valdosta State, but Hawaii Pacific, I don't know where they were throwing it to. The runner at third wasn't tagging. Now this was very strange right here. She thought there were 2 outs. She's got to go back. Shaw thought there were 2 outs and that was the third out. Now where Valdosta State was throwing that ball is beyond me. What a horrible error. You can tell that she thinks there's 2 outs because this is a foul ball. She would have tagged easily. But where Cenas is throwing it is beyond me. And look at who's got to flag it down is Morrow, all the way from her catcher spot. Wow, both defenses just laying big eggs.
And I think Amber Shaw made a couple of mistakes on that play. She ran through home plate after she failed to tag. She did not run back through the bag on her way back to third. She did not run back through the plate.
They actually could have. They could have gotten her on that. You're absolutely right.
So you very rarely see it at home. You usually see it at second. If someone doesn't tag up from first, they run around the bag at second. You have to go back and touch the bag again to go back to first.
That's right.
Same rule applies at home
with
plate.
Home plate, you're absolutely right. Shaw absolutely got away with one. She thought there were 2 outs. An incredibly huge mistake on her part. Gets away with it, and not only is okay going back to third, but ends up scoring on that wild throw. I'm not sure where Cenas was going with it.
All Cenas had to do was flip it to third for an inning-ending double play. Instead, not only does the run from Shaw score and Littlefield end up at third, but of course the inning is still alive.
And the tying run at the hot corner.
And Carlson reaches base on the walk. So Colette Rollins comes to the plate with 2 on and 2 out.
Man, what a weird game.
I think the fielding and base running fundamentals left town with that train.
Nothing pretty, that's for sure.
Rollins was hit by a pitch in the first to third and foul. 0-1. Pires plays right on top of the line.
She sure
so
does.
So if she moves a half inch to her right to field a ball, it will be in foul territory.
She doesn't want to give up that double down the line, that's for sure.
Nothing in 2. I'm sure that's also a byproduct of Moose Keys having so much success pitching inside and moving the ball in and off the plate both directions.
Well, you can tell, though, this Valdosta club is really setting up for the inside offering. And Moose Keys maybe will go off speed here, or perhaps Morrow will set up on the outside of the plate.
To right field, Tesoro started in, now comes around, and you have to hold your breath every time a ball is put into play here today. 3 errors combined in this inning between the two. And back and forth they go. Amber Shaw crosses the plate to make it a 1-run game. Back in St. Joe, Missouri, where before the game my partner caught up with Valdosta State catcher Alyssa Shirey to talk about her unique equipment.
But I take it from your glove and put it in here, and it just feels like there's so much more of a pocket to work with. Wasn't that tough to adapt to a shallower, less of a surface, if you will?
I don't think so, because, I mean, the ball hits a pocket and it stays.
Okay.
It's less mitt to control, and, I mean, this is a little bigger than I wanted, but Coach Macera wouldn't let me get the 33, so I had to go to 34. But it's a little bit more mitt, but it's less pocket, and I just think it makes me quicker.
All-American knows what she's doing. All right.
All right.
And behind the plate for Valdosta State, Alyssa Shirey, and that glove, the catcher's mitt, the baseball catcher's mitt, as opposed to a softball catcher's mitt, is necessary. You see it pop right out to provide more padding for that left thumb that is so heavily damaged.
Yeah, it's basically shot, she said, her ligaments, and that glove gives her a little bit more padding. You know, pass balls have been a problem on occasion for her, but she really likes the style.
Ball and a strike on the foul ball from Breanne Patton. Hawaii Pacific leads by 1, nobody out in the 6th.
Oh, we got a long way to go on this one. I think Macera's got the same feeling, but you got to slam the door defensively. You can't trade runs with the Hawaii Pacific.
talking with Thomas Macera, the Valdosta State head coach, today before the game, and he mentioned with Shiree, she was an All-American at Chipola Junior College in Florida and was a great player at that point, but there were some things that this staff did to refine her game. They worked with her swing a little bit, cleaned it up, and worked with her to be a catcher that uses better framing. That before, she just kind of sat back there and caught, and now she has learned the nuances of the pitching, of the position, and that's even tougher, I would imagine, to frame a pitch wearing that catcher's mitt, because you have to catch it perfectly because the pocket is so small.
That's exactly right, and that's why I think some of the past balls have been mounting against her. It's not a very forgiving glove. She likes it. Macera can't stand the fact that she uses it.
The third, Carlson, one down.
Big first out. That's what's so key, especially late in these games. You got to erase that first out. You saw what happened to Hawaii Pacific when Shaw was able to lead off their home half, Valdosta's home half, with that leadoff single. And then everything just, the wheels fell off.
First pitch strike, Shante Tesoro.
And when you're a singles hitting club with some doubles, you should be able to figure out these off-speed pitches. Easier said than done. You're not swinging from the heels or swinging for the fences. Choke up and know it's coming. But Carter has really settled down.
Got her to chase one up and away, and Tesoro goes down on strikes. 2 down, and we'll go back to the top of the lineup for Cenas. For live stats and recaps for all rounds of every NCAA championship, log on to NCAA.com. NCAA.com is the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships. Offering upstairs 1-0 to the leadoff hitter Cenas. She is 2 for 2 and has reached base in all 3 plate appearances after a walk in the first. There's a strike that pops right out of that big, thick catcher's mitt.
And how good has Cenas been battling this staff for Valdosta State with consecutive opposite field singles, just hanging tough in the count. And it was her single that got things going in that home half of the 5th for HPU.
HPU had 4 straight singles in the 5th inning. 6 singles for the frame, and aided by a pair of Valdosta State errors. They started this game just 1 for 13, but 6 hits in their last 10 at-bats, and the result, 4 runs. Right down the gut for a strike.
Taken all the way there on 3-1, but at 3-2, let's see if Cenas can look for the off-speed again.
Into center. Jackson puts it away. And how about the change for Valdosta State in the 5th inning? Hawaii Pacific sent 10 to the plate. 3 up, 3 down here in the 6th as the Lady Blazers look for some offense coming back. From beautiful St. Joseph, Missouri, just on the banks of the Missouri River, Hawaii Pacific leads Valdosta State. We're up in the northwest corner of the Show Me State. Not far from Omaha, long drive to get over to St. Louis in just about an hour north of Kansas City. 55 miles, as a matter of fact, to KC. And how about the trip for Hawaii Pacific to get here? It was 7 hours to LAX, and then through Minneapolis. Minneapolis to Kansas City is a quick jaunt, and then that hour drive. So you've got 13 hours on a plane, and then 1 more hour on the team bus to get up here. And I got to tell you, Ann, the way the folks from the 50th state support their kids and their programs, that's like you and I going on a 45-minute commute. I mean, that's nothing.
I'll tell you, both teams still talking about today that great job that this wonderful town has done in hosting this, and they'd come from near and far. Their fans have done that. Great firework extravaganza the first night here. They're having a blast. Oh, man, I tell you what, Moose Keys is getting squeezed again. This is a huge at-bat for both clubs. You've got to record this first out, Tom, if you're HBU.
Shaw reached to lead the 5th. She came around to score. And now Vaughn looks at a strike to take the count to 2-2.
Now, you know Moose Keys had to groove that if you're Vaughn. And this is a quality hitter here. Vaughn's got to be aggressive up at the plate.
Slow roller to short. Garces got her.
Ooh,
big time
baby.
play by Garces.
Big time play, and Patton also did a nice job at first base to make sure she kept that foot on the bag. Slow roller's right. Look at the gun. Nice job by Patton using that right arm to make sure that the balance was good on the catch and the foot was on the anchor. But that all started with Garces.
Back to the circle, 2 down.
All right, we're talking about what a quality pitcher Moose Keys is, but also a defensive pitcher as well. The fact that she wears that glove for a reason allows Patton to stay home on small ball and be comfortable over there on the first base side because Moose Keys is such a good defensive pitcher. Ooh, 2 big outs, Tommy.
We told you earlier as Jackson digs in through the wickets of the third baseman Pires, and Jackson is aboard. It's been a turnaround for both sides. The Sea Warriors bats were quiet early, hot now. Valdosta State had a great first inning, and they've been held up lately.
Now batting right fielder number 1.
Just a shot, and not staying down on it was Pires. Young left side of the infield. Garces, a freshman, makes the play. Pires, a freshman, cannot. And here's Shaw with the chance to put that ball on the ground or pop it through the infield and keep the rally going.
Base hit. 2 on. Back-to-back singles for the Lady Blazers.
Shaw coming alive when her club needs it the most, staying with it on the slap single. Much better job there form-wise of not rolling over on that pitch and keeping the shoulder up and just driving it through the infield. You see now, Tom, why the first out, second out, so critical for Hawaii Pacific. But you've got some real tough outs coming up. Oh boy, Morgan Johnson. Remember the walk-off home run yesterday? You better, Murderer's Row's coming up for Valdosta State.
One and 0.
You've got to be playing deep if you're Hawaii Pacific. The outfield's good, it's not great.
Johnson 1 for 2 today. Drives one to the shortstop, and the out made on the sinking line drive to finish the inning.
What a play by Garces.
For Valdosta State.
2 left on in the 6th inning for Valdosta State. They only have 3 outs left to make it happen. 4-3, Hawaii Pacific with the lead. The hardware waiting for the national champion. Experience the life of the student athlete. Watch NCAA on campus each Monday at 8:30 Eastern on CBS College Sports Network. NCAA on campus can also be viewed online at ncaa.com. If you have an idea for a story for the on-campus TV show, let us know about it. Email your idea to us at ncaaoncampus@ncaa.org. We'd love to hear from you. It's everything NCAA, and it's on campus. Hawaii Pacific looking for an insurance run or 2 against Margaret Carter, who has been magnificent throughout this tournament, but struggled in the 5th, as did starter Satterfield. Carter relieved her then. It turned into a 4-run, 6-hit, 2-error 5th inning that gave Hawaii Pacific its first lead of the game. Casey Sugihara drove in a run with a single and came around to score in the 5th.
All right, everybody's seen Carter. They understand exactly where she's coming from. She's not smoke and mirrors. She's bringing that off speed and seeing if you can be patient with it. Terrific on the inside corner. Going out, 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 and then coming in. Nice job by Shirey to set up on that inner half of the plate, and Carter hit her spot.
One down.
Now batting the designated player, number 15, Miley Kim.
Hutchins trying to atone for her error that kick-started the fifth. Miley Kim to the plate.
She also singled against Carter in that fifth, did Kim. Finally broke into the hit column, but maybe a little too patient, I think, are these HPU hitters now that they've gone through the rotation once against Carter.
Hawaii Pacific making their fourth trip to the NCAA tournament, their first ever to the World Series. They've been a Division II program for over a decade now. Jackson in center field puts it away.
Tom, this is the strangest game. We're watching a Hawaii Pacific team who's had one good inning at the plate and really taken advantage of some Valdosta State mistakes, some timely singles. One good inning has resulted in all the offense that maybe they'll need, but I kind of doubt it.
Same story yesterday for Hawaii Pacific. 3 unearned runs in the 6th inning in a semifinal win against Metro State. Valdosta State opened the series with a win against North Georgia College, the #1 overall team. Had their 50-game win streak snapped. Got the win against the All-America Sarah Phillips. Valdosta State is a team that's played behind a lot. They did so in the Super Regional. Lost to the Cotton Blossoms of Arkansas Monticello in Game 1 in 12 innings. In the Supers, came back to win 2. In the Regional, they lost to Palm Beach Atlantic in the 2nd game. Came through to win on an error. Down 1-2 out in the 7th. Used a drop pop-up to win the game. And now Valdosta State gets a strikeout of Morrow. And as we go to the home half of the 7th, the Blazers trail by 1. They've won 12 games this season in walk-off fashion. They have lucky number 13 waiting for them in the national championship match. Home half of the 7th inning of the Division II championship game. The Sea Warriors of Hawaii Pacific University looking for their first national title, leading by 1. Charisse Muskies has to worry about the 3 most dangerous hitters in the Lady Blazers lineup. Littlefield, Shirey, and Carlson have 46 home runs among them and 160 ribbies coming in. Marty Littlefield, 2 for 3, a pair of doubles today, and the first pitch is nubbed to second. What a big out, 1 down.
Ooh, you read my mind, partner. You could tell Littlefield was anxious to jump on the first offering of Moose Keys. And a big, you could see Sugihara just say to Moose Keys, okay, we got it. Patton did the same exact thing. Big, deep breath. First out recorded, huge. But these are home run kids coming to the plate. One swing can tie it up in a hurry.
Valdosta State is 2nd in the nation in home runs. Alyssa Shirey doubled home 2 runs in the first. First pitch swinging, and that will drop for a base knock.
Huge, huge. First pitch again by Valdosta State. And you saw the strength of Shirey that time. Didn't get the best cut. Certainly wasn't able to extend, but so darn strong. Weight training critical for this Valdosta club. And you could tell that was just muscled in for a hit.
Now batting, third baseman, number 24, Stephanie Carlson.
Charisse Muskies now has to worry about Stephanie Carlson. having a monster postseason. Came in batting .400 in this College World Series in a first pitch strike again. Remember, this is a Valdosta State team that won yesterday's semifinal on a walk-off home run in the 7th from freshman Morgan Johnson.
Carlson's got that kind of power.
Swinging for the fences, 0-2.
Now it's going to be critical here for Carlson to shorten that swing, Tom. That was her cut to do exactly what you said. Maybe go for it all. Down the line, it's only 190, but now it's time to worry about a base hit.
Carlson 0 for 2 today. This one won't leave the infield. It drops for a base hit. The shovel to second won't happen. And Valdosta State has 2 on with 1 down.
Tough luck for Moose Keys. You know, with this home run power, the outfield's got to play deep. The last thing they can do is let anything go over their heads. And there's no way in the world the infield's going to be able to flag this down. And even though Toriano's got great speed in center field, there's no way she's going to be able to make that play and get the force at second. Smart base running by Shiree, going halfway, making sure the ball drops. And Valdosta State, how about that with a couple of bloop singles, taking a page out of HPU's bag of tricks.
Kellett Rollins is due up. Here's what happened yesterday for Valdosta State. First batter of the 7th inning, the freshman Morgan Johnson hadn't seen a strike all day until this one.
Deep left could be a walk-off. Here's a home run! Morgan Johnson doesn't need Littlefield or Shirey. She'll walk up the Lady Blazers to the title game tomorrow.
We still don't know if Stuart Johnson has recovered from his call of the game-winning home run for Valdosta State. What we do know is that the Lady Blazers are in a position for their 13th walk-off win of the season. This is Rollins. Hitter to load the bases.
And only 1 out.
Wait a second, they're going to put her back at the plate.
Interesting. Now, the first time that Rollins was hit by the pitch, in that first frame, she never made an effort to get out of the way. Let's see what happens here. Okay, the exact same scenario, but in the first inning, she's given her base via the ball knocking into her knee. And I'm telling you, the reaction was exactly the same. And that's what Tom Macera is saying to the home plate umpire, because that loads him up with only 1 out. And now Rollins is going to have to pick the stick back up and give it another whack. Interesting.
Ashley Steinhilber is in a pinch run for Shiree at second.
Just a freshman, Tom. She's going to have to be very smart on the base paths. Never been in a situation this big.
1-0, pardon me.
I believe we've got a 2-1 count now, or maybe 2-0. 2-0, okay. Hitter's pitch.
Rollins yanks it foul, made her head coach Thomas Macera dance down the line. Just under his feet.
Rollins got hot in that conference tournament. Really started a good postseason run for Collette.
She was the most outstanding player of the Gulf South Conference tournament. She hit 700. Here's the 2-1. Yanked foul.
All right, on top of that inside offering. And this is a confident Rollins at the plate right now. Good speed on the bases. 72, 73, 74, 75 doubles. I mean, this is a team that can hit the gap and scamper on the paths.
Steinhilber at second, Carlson at first. The pitch is outside. And the count goes full.
Moose Keys, remember All-America, the senior, former walk-on, volleyball star in high school. In the biggest moment of her life, full count. Oh, man.
The payoff. Laid off. And the walk loads the bases. She didn't get the hit by pitch, but now she reaches. And Rollins aboard. And they're loaded up for Sarah Vaughn, who's due up, but we'll have a pinch hitter. Oh, we'll have a pinch runner, excuse me.
There you go, girl.
Julia Fink will come in to run it first.
Nakasone having a little circle chat with his ball players, knowing that his defense has been zinging it around a little bit. So now all the basic stuff has got to be true to form. What assignment do you have? Check. Force it any bag. Check. Be talking. Communicate. There's no room at the end. And look at Valdosta State. A knock away from winning this thing.
Number 16, Julia Fink. Pinch hitting for Valdosta State.
Not the prettiest of games, Tom, but one of the more exciting games you'll be involved in.
Amy Brightwell will pinch hit with the bases loaded. 3 home runs on the season. And Brightwell sends one foul on the first offering.
Junior was an early starter at third base for Valdosta State. Only 5'3", so a very small strike zone for Moose Keys, who's been struggling to find the zone.
Local girl out of Lowndes County High School. In Valdosta, Georgia, snared at third base, safe at the bag.
Boy, I thought for a second there she was going to get rung up. Wow, what a play over at third base by Garces. And heads up all the way by Johnson. Not getting doubled up. Not Johnson, sorry about that. Steinhilber. Oh boy, that almost ended it in dramatic fashion. That ball was tagged. Garces with a great play. Still Valdosta State in action. Oh, the drama.
First pitch, a strike to April Hutchins. If Valdosta State comes back to win this thing here in the 7th, it would have been that close for Hawaii Pacific. Bases loaded, 2 down, 1-run game. 0-2.
The last time up, Hutchins had a nice shot up the gut that Moose Keys was able to flag down and easily flip to first. Not a lot of Ks in the docket for Moose Keys, but boy, could she use one or a pop-up here.
Bases loaded, 2 down, the 0-2. And Hutchins wouldn't chase, a ball and 2 strikes.
That ump's not going to ring you up on a called third strike unless it's right down the gut. He's been favoring the hitters this whole way as far as called third strikes. There haven't been many.
2-2. Charissa Moose Keys out of Pico Rivera, California, came to college at Hawaii Pacific University with no intentions of playing softball. She was a volleyball star in high school. Her head coach got a call, said you might want to invite her out. And she just brought home a national title for Hawaii Pacific.
Scored by Valdosta State. They run 2 hits for the no errors, 3 left on. Final score, Hawaii Pacific 4, Valdosta State 2.
And the hardware belongs to Hawaii Pacific. The Sea Warriors are your 2010 Division II national champions.
Way to go, Blazers!
Charissa Moose Keys pitched every inning of this tournament. And for Valdosta State, the drama ends on Memorial Day. A walk-off home run yesterday to power into the title matchup. But this one belongs to the Columbia Blue and Kelly Green of HPU.
Flatlining just a bit early on was Hawaii Pacific and then exploding in that 5th inning. using some Valdosta miscues, but the timely hitting that has set table after table for HPU ends up giving them the national championship.
The long trip for Hawaii Pacific ends in title land, a 4-3 win. And back to St. Joseph, Missouri after this. Back in St. Joseph, Missouri, it's the first ever national title for the Sea Warriors of Hawaii Pacific, taking down Valdosta State. This game went according to plan for Hawaii Pacific. So many really opportunities to lose the game, but they stayed right in it to win it.
Boy, they really did. Moose Keys was terrific in the circle. You know, she knew she was going to get hit a little bit, but kept the ball in the yard, and then those singles hitters did their thing.
They never, Sharisa Moose Keys never let Valdosta State's big bats get going and put one over the fence for the second best home run hitting team in the nation.
Well, and that was key. I mean, a couple of extra base hits for sure, but Moose Keys has enough belief in herself, and that's really the one-horse wonder of HPU, and she had faith in the hitters, and they finally came through in the fifth.
And what can you say to the Lady Blazers of Valdosta State? So close.
You know, both these clubs making their first ever trips to the College World Series, and they gave us a great game. It wasn't the prettiest thing, but Valdosta State showing the guts in comeback fashion, really thought they had action in that final frame, and a heartbreaker for them all the way.
Two very young teams.
Yes.
There's no reason to expect that either program wouldn't be back next season for another crack at it.
Well, you love the fact that Moose Keys is able to say goodbye as a senior with the national championship, but it's Shiree and Carlson, you know, those two great seniors who say goodbye without the title for Valdosta State, but what they have done to just make sure that the dream will stay alive with the other juniors and sophomores.
The hardware will head across the Pacific. Our final score, Hawaii Pacific 4, Valdosta State 3. You can follow all the action from this championship as well as highlights and stats at NCAA.com, the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships. For Ann Schatz, I'm Tom Hart. Thanks for watching the Division II Softball Championship from St. Joseph, Missouri.
No runs, 2 hits to the no errors, 3 left on. Final score, Hawaii Pacific. Four Valdosta State. No runs, 2 hits to the no errors, 3 left on. Final score, Hawaii Pacific 4.